Welcome to Like a Bomb, a podcast about powerful women from the past and present. Not fragile like a flower.
Fragile like a bomb.
Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of Like a Bomb. I'm
Hello.
Bailey. And you are?
I'm a person. I am Jiller Mom.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, assuming editing doesn't go crazy, you're gonna see our faces in our rooms and whatever face my mom is making.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them sometimes. Oh,
You'll
and possibly
definitely
cat butts.
Yeah, the cats will hop up and you'll possibly see my ADHD fidgeting some aspect or another.
Uh-oh.
There's a Brody now!
Speaking of cats. No, don't step on the computer!
Oh.
Well, Finn's out of my lap. I don't know what Brody's doing. Okay, nope.
Brody wants to be part of the video. He knows. He wants to be internet famous.
Here, say hi.
The little voidling.
Okay, bye. Go. We are officially in February. Wait, today's Groundhog Day.
It's 6 more weeks of winter.
Do you hear me echoing? I'm hearing me echo.
You can put on echo cancellation. I'll put on echo cancellation for you.
You can't do it.
Never mind. We're already recording. Oh well.
It'll
be fine.
Don't hear me twice.
If it does, I can play with it. You'll hear me mess with my mic every now and then in the process. But yeah, so it's February 3rd. We have 6 more weeks of winter according to Groundhog Day.
Oh. Well, it's supposed to be in the 70s next week here.
I know. It's 2 weeks since inauguration. It has been... We're keeping this appropriate, because words are in my head that I should not be saying of what the past 2 weeks have been.
Yeah, I have some very scared students that aren't understanding a lot of things, that have a lot of questions. And I don't really have any answers other than they're in a public school. It's an institution and they are safe. And we are trained to take a bullet for you. So, got this for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely been something new every day. I feel so awful for the people with the fires. And we already have like Western North Carolina that's still dealing with that, and it's freezing temperatures. And then we have plane crashes, and
yes, we had a second one, but that was explicit to plane and not the air traffic controller as the tragedy over the Potomac.
Yes, however, it did go into like homes, so that
it did.
That's scary enough as it is, and I've only been on the plane once. I don't know if I ever want to do it again now.
Flight is still 10 times safer than cars.
Percentage-wise. And my percentage of getting killed in a car accident has skyrocketed in the last year. Whew.
Yes, because you drive way more often.
Yeah. Me and my car that I named her Penelope? Nope.
Penelope?
Lorelai. I named her Lorelai.
You named her Lorelai.
The white car was Penelope. That Piper
yeah,
hated
and
that
Penelope
name.
was my first succulent.
Yeah. So.
But in fun news, I did make that TikTok, that first episode, so anyone's interested, I pull up my phone and find the name of our TikTok, because I'm pretty sure it's just at Like a Bomb Podcast on TikTok. Yes, at Like a Bomb Podcast. I posted a video, and you can see that it's my old count converted, because there's a one that I made back in 2022.
Wow, such a long time ago. I need to do stuff. Once I get through the middle of February, I will be working the part-time job extremely rarely. So I should have more time. And
good.
It's not good. I need money. I gotta find a summer job.
I know. I'll be in an adult soccer league, I think, in March. I need to text the person to say, yes, I'll do that because I should be active as a person.
That sounds fun. I know I need to be active. I just don't have time to be active. I had something like every day after school last week, and I have some stuff every day this week.
You also have to drive so far, and then my OCD also doesn't help.
Yeah.
In my case.
Yeah. And then next weekend I work. So I do hope to get some videos out too. I keep saying that. I just don't have time. There's no time in the day. I've been running around today. Running around doing all kinds of craziness, but Yeah, I don't really have a lot of uplifting positives in the news.
I mean, since the last recording, I'm pretty sure, yeah, definitely since the last recording. Since the last episode came out, I think it would have been before then. I bought the Linkin Park tickets. That's the, things. I haven't been calling you as much. I've been distracted. We can talk about that more later. Nothing bad. You know it though. I've given you all the big updates. New tattoo and yeah, joining the adult soccer league.
I got nothing. I have a pet feral cat. I don't think she's feral. I think she's somebody's pet that didn't decide they didn't want her, but she now lives in my yard and is generally on either my side porch or my back porch when I get home from work, even if it's really, really late. And I call her Pretty Lady.
And you still don't know if it's actually a girl or not.
No, she's the closest she's let me get to her was today, where I was outside doing something, taking the trash out. I don't know what I was doing, and she was maybe 5 feet from me, and she didn't run. But we're getting there, little baby steps. All the other cats have other people taking care of her, taking care of them. This one seems to be without any attachments. All the other ones seem to have attachments. Poor little thing. So sweet. That's all I got. Wait. I went to a dance recital for 2 of my kids, and they were awesome.
Cool.
And I don't remember now. I think that's it. Yes,
sir. In addition to the TikTok video I posted, we collectively has 24 followers. We got 2 new ones. 2 from the TikTok video. And out of the past 7 days, because I like looking at the data, our listeners, I have the 2 from the past 7 days were from Turkey.
Oh.
Which is so
that's
Turkey.
Unique. That's unique.
Yeah. So our international audience. Thanks.
Okay.
You're our only international audience, which is funny because there is family international and friends.
Yeah, but that's okay. We don't publicize, and that is a downfall. And if I ever have time, I will make a Facebook page. These are all on my to-do list. There's a very long to-do list, but I need to do that. But the winter's been like a mess between the snow days and then losing hot water, which just, I had 2 snow days and I couldn't enjoy them because I couldn't wash my hands like a real person because I didn't have hot water because my hot water line froze. Of all the lines that's froze, you would think it would be the cold water line. But anyhow, they came
thermodynamics. The hot water, it changes easier the temperature than the cold.
Yes, because the molecules and stuff. Science, you know? It's cool.
I do know the science.
And I need to find a video because my student that was asking about how can the Earth not be a perfect sphere if it looks like a sphere? And then when I read her your response, and she's like, and I looked at her and I looked at me and I was like, maybe I'll find a video.
So no, it's okay. So for anyone else curious, quickly for a science dive before we go into stories, I'm obviously a space nerd. You see the tapestry behind me if you're watching on YouTube, and again, this editing works. This is we haven't tried this yet. We're just going for it. And the Earth is lumpy and has bulges at the middle because it is a sphere spinning, and the way gravity works, the 2 poles, the north and south poles, spin faster. And to make up for that, there's the bulge in the middle, the gravity and rotational spin on Earth. That is the simplest way to put it. And then, of course, the reason it looks like a perfect sphere on space is because there's so much more material, as in like gases and other things in our atmosphere. And we have gravity and spin, so it keeps it all together, and gravity is kind of a more uniforming force with its reach from the core of the Earth. And the gases only have a certain visibility point or like capacity of being held. So it looks like a perfect circular sphere, much more, and plus you're also far enough away that you're not going to see any little differences.
So it's not a marble, it just looks like a marble.
Yeah, a really
Okay.
big one.
Okay. Yeah, we were, science time in math class. It was fun.
That's the best explanation you're going to get from me right now.
Nope.
This
Yep.
is not my expertise. My expertise is flight data, and I'm specifically more going in like orbital mechanics is what I'll be doing. Hopefully, if I actually do my master's and go to Georgia Tech for that, or
Yeah,
Auburn, we'll see.
I'm looking at my master's, but that's Wake County pays for
Pricey.
masters, but most counties in the state, because the state took away master pay. We'll see how it goes. Okay, are you ready? I have a cat in my
Yeah.
lap. If you hear purring, it is probably Brody because he's currently in my lap, but they may trade off as we go. So, I'm gonna start. I don't know. I kind of went just rogue here. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Um, and Wonder Woman popped into my head for whatever reason. I guess she's just there every now and again. And then I went, okay, well, let's build from there. Oh, the Amazon.
Well, no surprise, the
Ooh.
Wonder Woman. You have at least the poster in our bedroom, and
I have
then
part of the costume above my chest. Yes, lots of Wonder Woman things. So I used PBIS. PBIS. Nope, that's teaching. Nope, nope, nope. PBS, an Observer article, Wikipedia, many different sources to find information. But let's just learn a little bit about Wonder Woman in case you had no idea, which makes me sad for you if you know nothing about Wonder Woman. So the creators were the writer was William Marsden, and he was a psychologist, and he actually created an early prototype for the polygraph with his wife. He based the character off of his wife, Elizabeth, and their polyamorous life partner, Olive. The artist was Harry Peter. So I've noticed looking at a bunch of stuff about the two of them in the comic itself that they kind of were going with the feminist fight of these are the women that women aspire to be because you should be strong and you should be able to fight. You shouldn't just be in, a kitchen. So it was one of the first DC Comics series, superheroes, and it was introduced. I saw two different dates, 1939 and 1941. So either way, a very long time ago, and in a time where women were not supposed to have the power in any situation. I mean, let's think about where we're at in time: the Great Depression, World War II. Like, it's not a pretty world right now. So her official title is her Amazon identity was Princess Diana of Themyscira. I did look that up, but So, and her civilian identity was Diana Prince. So I'm guessing kind of like Superman. He's Clark Kent or Superman. I don't know. I guess I'm not a
I
comic
guess
book.
yeah.
I never really got into comic books. I just thought Wonder Woman was really cool. And we remember there was a show at one point because I'm old. So her origin stories, there are many, many variations for the origin story of where did Wonder Woman come from? So even in the DC comics, even in her comic history, it's changed her origin story based on where we are in culture. And do we need to change her origin story to match kind of what's happening in society and be a better fit, since she is a woman with power? So her original origin story in the original comic books is she was sculpted from clay by her mother, Queen Hippolyta, and as just created as an Amazon. And she was also gifted superpowers by the Greek gods. And if you look through, you can actually find where each Greek god gave her a different power and why they gave that to her. I didn't want to digress too much because then I would have gone into the Greek gods and why would they have it's a bit of a rabbit hole. Somewhere in the middle of her like existence in comic books, she was the daughter of Zeus and Hippolyta, and then after that, they went back to her original Clay origin story. At some point through history, she was basically stripped of her powers in the comic books, not because like some arch villain did it, but more or less just to make her more humanistic and not as threatening as a woman, which, okay, sure. Her homeland is either the island nation of Themyscira or the Paradise Island or the Amazon Isles. The location is undisclosed. We're not allowed to know where this is for security reasons, so that we can't find her homeland.
Yep, top secret.
Yes, but even if you did know, the island can relocate through time through land and space and time. So like it could just go wherever, whenever, if it wanted to. So I guess if it sees you coming, it can go poof and go to like 100 years ago in a completely different part of the world. So I guess it really doesn't matter if you know where it's at. I'm not 100% sure. So the name of her homeland comes from the capital of the Amazons in the Greek mythology, which was Themyscira. And so there's a little bit. And she has, and if you've ever really, I'm not a comic book person. I apologize for that. I have not gotten to the Marvels series or any of that. I know Piper
None of the movies?
No.
I got dragged into it from Luke.
I know Piper got into some of them. I don't know which. Yeah, so she got into some of them, but just, no, I don't really watch movies. I don't have time anymore. Like, when y'all were growing up, it was more or less I was watching things that y'all were watching.
And the Disney movies were the baby movies we were obsessed with.
Yeah, so I kind of want to watch those. So she has her magical items that she has: a lasso of truth, indestructible bracelets, boom, boom, where like the bullets just bounce right off because she can find. Yeah, okay. A tiara was a throwing device, I guess, like a throwing star,
or like a disc, like a discus.
So yes, but more like a weapon as well. Like it comes back to you. Yes, like
so it's a fancy boomerang.
Boomerang that also can hurt you.
Boomerangs are weapons.
Yes, they are. Okay, sir. And she had a lot of Amazonian technological devices. Don't know what those were because I cannot remember the show enough to go with what that was based off of. She had a lot of powers depending on where you looked and where you got the information from. But don't mind the cat that's just climbing around.
Brody really said he wants to be in this episode.
Yes, and that's his butt. Put it down. Put your butt down. She had superhuman strength. She had speed. She had flight. Fast healing. Amazonian fighting skills. And we kind of talk about that when we talk about like the myths of Amazons. She had ESP, astral projection, telepathy, scientific knowledge. I'm not sure that that's a superpower. And many, many more. I mean, scientific knowledge, I feel like, is just knowledge.
But yeah, you're just smart.
Maybe
you got the smarts.
Maybe it was like put in her head magically or something, and that's why it was made it like different.
Like she just poof absorbed a textbook.
I guess like
I wish I could do that.
I mean, you get like sleep on a textbook. Maybe you get it.
Osmosis. Oh, it's not osmosis. I hated those memes. I would always be upset. It's like you're just sleeping with a textbook under your pillow. Just do osmosis. Osmosis is water only. It's diffusion.
Sorry, I have a cat going places. I don't know what he's doing back there. So that is just like my. If you don't remember or know anything about Amazon women, that's the most commonly associated fictional character with the Amazons is Wonder Woman. But they're actually, I was so excited when I was doing this research. There's actually scientific proof now that they probably did really exist. I was like, ooh. Oh, that's so cool. So basically they first started off as a Greek myth. But the question is, are they just a Greek myth or true warrior women's words? They're really hard. So they are a race or society of fierce warrior women known for their incredible courage, strength, height, and in like they were supposed to be like super tall, um, physical agility, art of combat, their pride, their independence, their beauty, their archery, hunting, and riding skills. Like they were supposed to be like extremely accomplished, but with bows and arrows on horses. Like I know that if you look back through lots of warriors over history, there were some that were trained, like they spent so much time. That was part of their combat training was being able to do that on horses. So the first things that we look at is everybody's like, well, it was works of fiction. So how can we believe this was actually true? So in the written works, so the epic poem, the Iliad by Homer, was written in the 8th or the 9th century. These are BCE, by the way, and BC is before Common Era. So it was a poem that had been originally shared orally for centuries, and it's about the Trojan War between early Greeks and the people of Troy in the 12th or 13th century BCE, or what's considered the Bronze Age. So Amazon queen and troops fought for the Trojan army, and the queen is killed by Achilles, the greatest, of course, of all the warriors for, the Greeks. And the Amazon women were, and this is described as fierce, athletic, skilled warriors who are equal to men and fight like men. So that's the description, and that was one of the first written references to Amazon women. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now. So there is no clear origins of the name or the term Amazon. There are so many different references or where they think this came from or how it transitioned into the word Amazon. I'm not even get into those theories. Each thing uses some other form of the word, but it all is talking about the same women. So the epic poem, The Labors of Hercules, by P. Saunders in the 6th or the 7th century, it was about the series of 12 tasks that Hercules was forced to complete to atone for killing his own wife and children during a moment of madness. I don't remember ever hearing about this.
Well, Greek stories are pretty brutal, some of them.
Well, yes, because they did it for, they watched people die.
They enjoyed tragedies.
Yes, they did it for entertainment.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel like I should have heard, maybe I'm just blocking it out of my memory. And so his 9th task was to steal the belt or the girdle. Both are said interchangeably in different sources of the Queen of the Amazons. So he was forced to complete these tasks by Eurystheus, who was a high king. Why he was the one he had to, I couldn't find that understanding, but he wanted the belt or girdle for his daughter. Well, she wanted it, and so that was why it was his 9th task. Amazon women were described as a race of warrior women. They had their own kingdom, so they were matriarchal society, meaning everything is run by women, and they were skilled with horses and archery. So next, there is the prose, the histories, or the history of Herodotus. And if you don't know what prose is kind of like an essay way of writing things. It's different than poetry, more essay style. And he was a Greek historian in the 5th century. So it's an account of the Greco-Persian Wars and the story of the Persian Empire. So it's considered basically factual. So for Amazon women, this strongly suggests that the Amazons were real with a real history, with horses. They were archers known for their fearless manslaying. They were taken as prisoners by the Greeks after losing in a battle. They were put on ships and then killed their Greek captors, because why not, and took control of the ships. Of course, they were not able to sail, so they ran ashore in the Black Sea between Europe and Asia, and they married the Scythrien. They were known for their, and I'm going to mess this one up, definitely, egalitarian society or lifestyle. And egalitarian, actually, it is, and I've defined it, is a person who advocates or supports egalitarian principles, which relating to or believing in the principles that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
Oh, like equal, not eagle.
No, it's spelled EGAL. So
Oh,
eagle.
weird.
Yeah.
I
That's
did
why
not mean to bonk my desk if anyone heard that.
I kept looking and saying, is it supposed to be a Q? Like,
yeah,
nope,
that's odd.
Nope, I'm right. I looked it up multiple times and I'm like, okay. But let's think about how long ago this was. This is talking about like thousands of years ago. And they had a society known for, and I actually found that that was actually historically factual when they talk about that. So I saw that. Though they married, men with their children, becoming the new race of, and I looked this up, I'm sorry.
Spell it out.
Martians. Nope, not Martians. Sauromatians. Sauromartians.
Yeah, I don't know. Words are hard. We both have speech problems.
I did look it up, and it basically was like, Sauromartians. Moved to the Russia, so they formed this new race, okay? So the original men and the Amazon women, they have now intermarried, and they have now created their own race, and they have moved to the Russian steppes, which when I looked up what that meant, because I was like, that's probably like the mountains, thinking like it was like meaning peaks. No, it in Russian, it is flat, grassy plains, and it's across the southern Russian into Siberia. I was like, oh, okay. So they now lived, and everything, a lot of the stuff I said, we're talking about this area. So there is a lot of crossover, even though it's considered, it was just myth. Well, people from places on the earth that don't necessarily talk to each other, and at a time that there was not like internet or cell phones or any way to like just
there weren't commonly traveled trails or paths between all these areas.
They weren't communicating with each other to be like, oh, let me tell you this story. Oh, let me tell you this story. And then, oh, our stories are so similar. No. And so the last one I have for works of literature is an epic poem, the Argonautica. Yeah. And that is more commonly known as the Adventures of Jason and the Argonauts. And that was done in the 3rd century. And it tells the adventure of Jason and the 50 heroes, the Argonauts, to retrieve the Golden Fleece. And the Golden Fleece, by the way, is the wool of the winged ram.
Yeah, I read this my sophomore year of high school, so I vaguely remember it. It was definitely odd.
And the wool is a symbol of kingship used to reclaim the throne. So the Amazon women were daughters of the Greek god of war and courage, Ares, and Harmonia, a nymph, and they were considered brutal and aggressive, with war as their primary focus. Maybe because that was what they had to do at the time. Back then, war was everywhere.
Much more common?
Yeah, I mean, they would kill you just for looking at them funny.
Conquest to claim land and that.
So Amazon women are written about in works of fiction and nonfiction and depicted in various forms of art. And they're even on some maps. Like, they have been around for thousands of years. And like we said, a lot of these are groups of people that aren't speaking in any way. They're like to have this one story. So there is actual proof. So there's archaeological science to back it up. In the 1990s, 2,000-year-old burial mounds in Russia, and outposts in the southern Ural steppes near the Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. The graves of the warrior women were buried with their weapons, and they were bow-legged for constant horse riding, and the average was 5 feet 6 inches, which was unusually tall for the time. And so, like, that was one of the things that was even noted in saying, okay, they were described as tall and larger than, normal women, and they are finding remains of women that actually physically, not just were they buried with wounds where they could see like they were in war, bow-legged because they've been on horses or with their weapons. They actually are significantly taller than the women else at the same time. So I think that's pretty impressive. And they were of the descendants of the Samardians. And that shows, again, the link from the stories to the actual history. Sorry, I lost my place. Samardians, from the 6th to the 4th century BCE, were nomadic experts in animal husbandry, which I actually Googled because I wanted to make sure I knew what that meant in case that came up. It's just the science of breeding and caring for animals, and they were known with their skilled warfare. And the Samardians are the 4th century BC, and they were also nomadic and livelihood on raising animals. They were versed in the art of war. They were considered raiders and traders. As they increased their wealth, there was more gold found in the burials. So in 2017, 2019, in Russia, burials of female warriors believed to have been Amazons were buried with arrowheads and spears. They had warped fingers from extensive use of bow and arrows. So we have bow-legged from riding horses all the time. They have warped fingers from the actual like cartilage in the bone being worn from if you've ever used a bow and arrow, you know specifically how you're pulling things and holding things, and that part of their fingers were significantly worn. There are more than 1,000 graves from Turkey. Turkey.
I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. That's how I've heard. I've heard it online and haven't been corrected because it's not Turkey.
Okay. From Turkey to Russia, or Turkey to Russia, from the 5th to the 4th centuries BCE, 37% warrior women were what they found in the graves, and most died from injuries in 1-to-1 combat.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, this is significant. If they're not like just the gatherers, they're not just the maternal figures that are just raising the children and then taking care of the homestead. They are having proof. There was one where there was like a spear through their, skull, and there's like what looks like kind of like an axe through part of one of the bodies. They were in battle, and it wasn't just
ouchie.
Somebody wanted their bread, and so they stabbed them in the head. No, they had other things that only your body is going to adapt to after years and years of use of something. So today there is actually an Amazon Village Museum, and it is in Turkey, and it promotes the academic interest in tourism. And I actually looked it up. You can the first thing that came up was actually the TripAdvisor, like, do you want to go here? And what should you do to get there? I'm like, not exactly what I was looking for, but okay, thank you, TripAdvisor.
Field trip? Maybe when the podcast has enough people?
Maybe. I was just like, okay. And it said that there's an annual Amazon celebration and festival, and I couldn't find that that's still going. I did see, I think the last date was 2022. So I couldn't find that for sure. I am sure there are plenty throughout the world, but there is actually a village museum. And the way it looks is it actually is set up like there's kind of like a little village. But there is actual proof that these women truly existed in history. And thousands of years ago, when a time where everybody's like, well, we've just now evolved where women are at this status in society. No, they had status in society. Some societies, they were equal to the men, completely equal. They would go
Which is
fight like a man.
impressive.
Yeah, like fight like a man and run the village or the whatever was, they were nomadic. They didn't really have a village. So, or wherever their homesteads were at the time, they'd equal footing. And a lot of things said that the reason the women first did this was because like the men would be out with the herds, and so they needed to, protect themselves, and so they took it upon themselves. So, it wasn't necessarily like a choice that they felt like they had in certain situations. Some of it they felt like, this is either us or them, so we need our people to live and we can kill them, because everybody was killing everybody back then.
Lots of small groups and lots of I want this, I want that. I'm struggling, you have this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they really did just kill people to kill people, and it was brutal. And I mean, granted, we still kind of do the same thing. And it was very much, I want your land, so I'm going to slaughter your people.
Still happening today.
The only difference is there is much more human population. So we inhabit more of the land in which there were not the inhabitants then. So they could easily grab the land,
Yes. And
societies, really haven't changed.
A lot more connection, a lot more communication,
yes.
And a lot more technology against technology.
Yes, not as much has really changed in comparison. But it did seem like there has been, for the last 30 some years, there has been more and more archaeological proof that Wonder Woman was real. Probably not the leotard getup.
And probably not the lasso of truth.
I don't know. Maybe.
I doubt that.
Well, didn't she also have an invisible plane? I think she used to also have an invisible plane.
Right, she did have an invisible plane.
I'm not really sure that is... I mean, but we don't know.
Technically, the invisible plane's more practical. You can just reflect the light or warp it in enough way where it's invisible.
Also, planes have only been around for so many years.
Planes have been around for a little over 100.
Well, I keep forgetting we're not in the 1900s anymore.
No, we're in the 2000s.
Well, for some reason the other day it dawned on me that you're both born in 2 different centuries. I don't know why that escaped me since y'all were little, but y'all are born in 2 different centuries.
Uh-huh. 2 different millennia, no less.
Yes. It's crazy. Sorry.
Well, the more we know, and I wasn't too fidgety. Ooh. But it is funny that you bring up Greek, as I conveniently got my Medusa tattoo a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Did it great.
Yeah, my hair's a massive poof. Yeah, it's on my right shoulder. As you know, it's on my shoulder.
Yes.
I feel special. So you met my tattoo artist because we got matching tattoos. And normally he doesn't take pictures after. And this was the one time he actually took pictures after. And I'm like, oh, you're going to actually post a tattoo that I got from you?
Wow. Wow. Did he design it?
I gave him a bunch of images and then he drew it on his iPad. So yes, I'd say he designed it based off images I gave him.
Yeah, I need mine.
I don't know how much he would have explicitly taken from others. I don't remember the reference images I gave him.
I want my half sleeve designed. I know what I want. I just need somebody to draw. Okay, I know I can see it in my head, but I just need somebody.
See about booking a consult whenever you come to me, I guess.
I don't know when that's happening.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Big news. Yawn. Sorry. Big news. I should have shared at the beginning. Jenny texted me or messaged me, or I don't know, maybe on Facebook Messenger. I don't know. Dolly Parton has a musical that is going to start in Nashville and then it's going to Broadway, and it's about Dolly Parton's life.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I can't remember. Let me see, because she sent it to me, I feel like just a couple of days ago, but a couple of days ago could have been like a couple of weeks ago at this point in my life.
The past couple of weeks have been feeling a lot more than weeks.
It's going to be at the Belmont University's Fisher Center for the Performing Arts.
In Nashville?
In Nashville.
Okay.
And then it's supposed to go to, because now it's just giving me the picture and not giving me the article. Then it's supposed to go to Broadway is what I looked up. So
are you and Jenny going to Nashville?
I said, let's go. She didn't respond, so I don't know. I don't know if we're going to Nashville or not. We could be. Who knows?
Go hang out in Nashville.
Well, I'd have to have time off and money.
I would just avoid the Broadway in Nashville, where all the drunkards are, and the bachelorette parties.
I mean, Nashville has an airport, right?
Huh? Nashville has an airport.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I don't know. I want to fly in and rent a car. I don't know. I don't know if I want to drive that way anytime soon because
that third of the state.
Yeah.
And then a bit of Tennessee also wrecked by Helene.
Yeah, so like you only have one route option now, so everybody has that only one route option.
40's back up in some regard.
In some regard, there's some parts that I don't care if you open it up or not. I'm never driving on that again. That doesn't sound safe.
The parts that you hate on 40 weren't affected.
I still don't. I just don't like going through there.
I like driving on 40. It's not bad.
Sorry.
But so I had a few ideas of who I wanted to cover today, keeping with the political theme. But so one of the things that I mentioned are podcasts to my tattoo artist. And I'm like, do you have any recommendations of women to cover? And he's like, oh, I don't know any historical women because it's, off the top of the head. And I'm like, it can be present women too. Yeah. Like it's both. And so Michelle Obama was one of them. So I'm like, right, I should cover her. And also fitting because she said, no, I'm not going to inauguration, which is valid for many other reasons. Simple for the fact of, yes, she was the past first lady, and historically you were invited and you will go, but Trump and Melania did not go to Biden's, so like another disrespectful of like tradition and things. Yeah. So she's just like, tradition is not there anymore. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'll let her speak on her own behalf. She even has her own podcast. But yes, I'm covering Michelle Obama. I guess, her podcast. Haven't listened to it, but she has one.
Apparently everybody has podcasts now. My goodness.
Yeah, everyone does. So us having a podcast isn't that unique. I've seen memes about poking. It's like, you know what to do? You make a podcast. So okay. Ours, I'd say, is pretty good.
I mean, I don't know.
Definitely not biased. But so I have two sources, obviously Wikipedia, mostly because the White House page, it's the Obama White House Archives. It is historic material frozen in time, as it quotes with the quotations, about First Lady Michelle Obama. So it doesn't have as much depth or current information about her, but it is still useful information from a, in theory, reliable source of the White House. And I say in theory because the White House has deleted many a page, including the page with the Constitution on it.
Yeah.
So, we all know Michelle Obama for being the first lady of Barack Obama, the 44th president. But she is her own person, and we've seen that more in the past years, especially since no longer being the first lady and being much more her independent self with books she's written and other places she's gone and talked and advocating for organizations she's created. So she was born January 17th, 1964, and was from south side of Chicago. Let's see. There's so much information. So her career started with studying sociology and African American studies at Princeton University. And after graduating from Harvard Law in 1988, she joined the Chicago law firm Sidley and Austin, where she later met Barack Obama, who we know would later become the love of her life, her husband, father of her 2 children, and one of our presidents. They met at this law firm being some of the few Black people, and she was assigned his mentor, as he was a summer associate, I believe is what Wikipedia listed him as, and Barack Obama listed it as an attraction of opposites. They got married in 1992. After a few years, Michelle Obama decided her true calling was working with people to serve the communities and their neighbors. She served as Assistant Commissioner of Planning and Development in Chicago City Hall before becoming the founding Executive Director of the Chicago chapter of Public Allies, an AmeriCorps program that prepares youth for public service. In 1996, Obama joined the University of Chicago with the vision of bringing campus and community together. As Associate Dean of Student Services, she developed the university's first community service program, and under her leadership, as Vice President of Community and External Affairs for the University of Chicago Medical Center, volunteerism skyrocketed. She has continued her efforts to support and inspire young people during her time as First Lady. In 2010, she launched Let's Move, bringing together community leaders, educators, medical professionals, parents, and others in nationwide efforts to address the challenge of childhood obesity. In 2011, her and Dr. Jill Biden came together launching Joining Forces, a nationwide initiative calling all Americans to rally around service members, veterans, and their families and support them through wellness, education, and employment opportunities. In 2014, Michelle Obama launched the Reach Higher initiative, an effort to inspire young people across America to take charge of their future by completing their education past high school, whether as a professional training program, community college, or a 4-year college or university. In 2015, she joined President Obama to launch Let Girls Learn, a U.S. government-wide initiative to help girls around the world go to school and stay in school. That is the general overall of some big initiatives on the White House page. And as there's been posts around the internet of, Michelle Obama should run for president, or why didn't she run, or this or that. Well, she does not want to be directly in politics. That is stated during some of Barack Obama's addresses. But she was very active in Barack Obama's presidential campaigns, and then being supportive, of course, with the Senate and other preliminary campaigns, becoming more and more active the farther along he progressed through his career. So being a supportive partner and speaking and advocating for things that was important to her. During her first months as First Lady, she visited homeless shelters and soup kitchens. She also sent representatives to schools and advocated public service. Another big thing that she did, I know many of people my age have complained about it, but there was the nutrition change, the plate nutrition that was in school, how it changed food lunches, like school lunches.
I
never noticed that being a problem, but that is one thing that's notoriously one of her big pushes. And then her and her daughters helped with LGBT rights as well. At least I saw something where the girls had convinced Barack Obama to be more LGBT friendly. I don't know the truth on it, but as a family, they are very pro-LGBT plus, and then Michelle hosted this as well. They helped repeal the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in the military, and if you are of the LGBTQ plus community, you know that there was the Supreme Court ruling in 2015 on June 26th, ruling that gay marriage, as is simply put, is legal throughout all of the U.S. It is federally upheld and protected.
It's been that. I feel like it's been longer than 10 years, but I guess it hasn't.
Well, it hasn't technically been 10 years yet.
Wow.
Yes. And, well, with the ascent of Barack Obama as a prominent national politician, Michelle Obama became a part of popular culture. Even starting back in 2006, Essence listed her among 25 of the world's most inspiring women. There's just a lot of her also still being in the public eye. But if you didn't know, she wrote a few books. And she actually won 2 Grammy Awards from the Best Spoken Word album, her book Becoming, and she won that in 2019, as well as the category of Best Audiobook Narration and Storytelling Recording for the book of The Light We Carry, Overcoming in Uncertain Times, won in 2023. I mean, there's a lot more I can go on with Michelle Obama, but I don't want to dive into too much nitty gritty. Michelle Obama went from someone in South Side of Chicago being the first one in her family to go to college to the point that she didn't feel like she fit in. She felt like she was a visitor on campus, to having a law degree and a very successful career with a loving, happy family. She's a very successful woman from very humble roots. She likes to praise that hard work will get you where you need to be, where you want to be.
Well, a lot of people still complain about her school lunch initiatives.
Yeah, I know.
To me, and I'm like, I haven't had school lunch since before that happened.
I was there having school lunches. I didn't have a problem.
Like, I don't know. And when I was growing up, the only real options were milk, and I'm allergic, so.
I mean, I only had the option of milk growing up too.
We had some juices. We did have some juice options.
Juice was only during breakfast.
Yep, we had some juice options even for lunch.
I had chocolate milk, and I don't like milk. I don't like milk.
I can't drink
but yes,
milk.
I know it was very sloppily put together because I got extra nervous with the recording with video. But yes, that is Michelle Obama in a nutshell, and she's still very active and going about doing things today.
Yes, so if we seem a little off, it's because we're going to try and post it as a video. So I think our anxieties were extra high, and there may be more
Well, awkward pauses that may look weird editing the video. I don't know. But
I don't know. But
welcome to our chaos. This is why you're here, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Or just because you know us and you want to listen and support, which is all I know.
We appreciate that, and I'll share it with everybody you know. Everybody you know. International Women's Day is
March 8th.
I know, a month away. So we can also bombard the world on that day as well, which I think is a Saturday this year, because I think my birthday is a Saturday. And that's Josh's birthday. Josh's birthday is every year International Women's Day. I love that. It's so cute. Which also means that
cute.
That means that day is always 7 days after my birthday, because it's Josh's birthday, which is 7 days after mine. Yeah. My little baby brother okay.
Little siblings.
Yeah. I have 2 of those things.
Yes, you do. And one is much closer to my age than you.
One is closer to both of your ages than me. But
I think
no.
Josh is just about equal between you and Pip.
No, because you're 9 years difference. That means that he's 12 years difference to Piper. And he's 13 to me. Just
barely in the middle with Pip.
Yep. So even further from me. So yeah, I don't know. I have some students who have like 18-year age difference with some of their siblings, or 20 some years.
I'm glad my sibling difference is 3.
I was like, I don't know. I'm too old I can't have babies anyway, so it's okay. Well, I hope everybody's having a wonderful February. And
stay warm.
Stay warm or cool, depending on where you're at. It all depends on where you're at, what that means.
Yeah, I guess stay cool if you're down in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, we're supposed to be kind of warm here this week. Today is super cold. Today's like the coldest day it's been in a few days. I think the high is like right now, and it's like 40-some degrees. But that's okay. So go do something extraordinary.